Tonight, we're witnessing something that would make Vladimir Putin blush. In Pennsylvania, Democrat election officials are openly, let me repeat that, openly defying the Supreme Court. Despite clear rulings that undated ballots cannot be counted, Bucks County Commissioner Diane Ellis-Marseglia is doing it anyway. Dave McCormick's 40,000 vote lead has mysteriously shrunk to 21,000, and every single questionable ballot seems to be breaking one way. But here's where it gets interesting. The RNC isn't standing down this time. They're exploring criminal charges against officials who dare to defy the court. Just as election integrity is under attack, your personal data faces constant threats. Did you know that malware attacks have skyrocketed 643% since 2020? Well, Democrat officials ignore court orders. Hackers are ignoring your privacy rights. That's why I trust VirtualShield Antivirus Pro. Like the RNC fighting for election integrity, VirtualShield fights to protect your digital life. Don't let your personal data become another stolen vote. Visit virtualshield.com/nextnews for a special Black Friday offer, up to 75% off plus a 7-day free trial. Secure your digital rights before they're compromised. Now, Charlie Kirk, just 5 hours ago, reporting that Pennsylvania Democrats have decided to appeal the Pennsylvania Supreme Court decision to stop the counting of illegal votes. This is absolutely treason, he says. Prison time for all of these people. RNC Research posting this: Senator John Fetterman defends local Democrat officials counting invalid provisional ballots in defiance of multiple court orders. Senator John Fetterman, everybody, on CNN.
What's your take? What's your response to that Democratic official deliberately announcing that they're going to defy court orders and count these provisional ballots?
Well, I'm not going to chase every kinds of quotes, things like that, because I think you just pointed out that it refers to about 115 ballots, and that's not going to have an impact on this race at this point. So where we are now? It's very, very close. And I guarantee you, if Dave McCormick were in the opposite situation where he was down 15 to 17,000 votes, he would absolutely want to have every last vote counted as well, too. And Bob Casey has never claimed fraud. And I think it's really interesting now, all of the Republicans and the conservative people on Twitter aren't talking about, oh, they're cheating, they're having all kinds of a thing after Trump won. No one's claiming that there's any kinds of actual cheating on our side. You know, calling and counting every vote, and that's where we're at, and that's the law. And when it's finished, and if Bob Casey comes up short, I can almost guarantee you that he's going to do the right thing and concede at that. So that's the thing. But my point, no one's making an argument that there's any kinds of cheating or thing on our side. It's like, hey, we're going to count every last vote.
So the question is, why are you even still counting ballots? Laura Trump says 9 hours ago, reminder, it's still illegal to count votes that are improperly dated. Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled on this again. McCormick Casey recount update following our latest RNC lawsuit today. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled yet again undated ballots cannot be counted. John Cremens 4 days ago posted this: election fraud in Pennsylvania. Bucks County commissioners just voted to count misdated and undated mail-in ballots in violation of Pennsylvania law to try to help Democrat Senate candidate Bob Casey, who lost to Republican Dave McCormick. Commissioner Diane Ellis-Marseglia says. 9 hours ago, breaking news just announced: Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled yet again that undated ballots cannot be counted. GOP Chairman Michael Whatley, no more excuses. Election officials in Bucks, Montgomery, Philadelphia, and other counties have absolutely no choice but to listen to the law. We're now 10 days since the election. This was 3 days ago. PA is still counting illegal votes. Meanwhile, 40,000 vote lead has been whittled down to 21,000 for McCormick. This was, of course, 3 days ago. 9 hours ago, PA recount update. The 5D 2R Pennsylvania Supreme Court has once again ruled undated ballots can't be counted. County election officials should be arrested if they continue to flagrantly disregard these rulings. Enough is enough. Kyle Becker, 13 hours ago. Bucks County Commissioner who defied the PA Supreme Court is in danger of facing criminal charges for breaking election law. Chairman Whatley tells Daily Caller that RNC is exploring whether Dem Commissioner Diane Ellis, whatever, could be held criminally accountable. And this is Democrat Commissioner here. Listen.
Your motion is to reject.
We reject all three categories of these ballots.
Your motion is to reject or dismiss the challenges in this category in front of you?
Correct, yep.
Not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country.
Wow.
And people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
Wow. Wow. How flagrant is that?
And people violate laws doesn't matter anymore in this country. That precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country. And people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
Wow. Absolutely criminal. Open defiance of the court. I've never heard of anything so sickening. Gateway Pundit reports a huge win in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. 7 hours ago, County Board of Elections must comply with ruling and stop counting illegal ballots. Undated ballots will be removed from Bucks County vote totals. 9 hours ago, Bucks GOP says we won. The PA Supreme Court issued a ruling today ordering that all 67 PA County boards of elections shall comply with their earlier ruling and shall not count misdated and undated ballots. This is a victory for election integrity and the rule of law. And as this is happening, an election judge charged for allowing unregistered voters in Minnesota, Timothy Michael Schouten, a Minnesota election judge, faces felony charges for allegedly letting 11 unregistered people vote, skipping the required registration step. Oh, and he's facing up to 10 years in prison, up to $20,000 in fines.
Voters and election judges in some serious trouble for letting Minnesotans vote illegally. Investigators say that the head election judge in Hubbard County allowed 11 unregistered voters to cast ballots on Election Day. Voters can register the day of the election, but this judge didn't make them fill out the paperwork. That judge is now charged with 2 felonies. The maximum penalty is 10 years in prison, up to $20,000 in fine.
$20,000 in fine, 10 years in prison. And they should definitely send this Diane. She should go right to jail too. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Timothy Michael Schouten, an election judge in Minnesota, arrested, facing felony charges. Here we have Lisa Marie Booth calling out Bob Casey, Pennsylvania Democrats. Let's listen. This is 11 hours ago.
This is insurmountable. Well, so I'll get into the politics of this. So, look, I've worked on Senate races before. You know the math. So Senator Casey's team knows the math. He knows that this is insurmountable. There's no path to victory. The Associated Press looked at recounts since the infamous 2000 presidential recount and looked at there's been 36 statewide general election recounts since then. Only 3 resulted in a new winner. We're talking about a difference of hundreds of votes, not tens of thousands, which is the difference between Casey and McCormick in this Pennsylvania Senate race. Beyond that, you can go back to the 2008 Senate race between Norm Coleman and Al Franken. Al Franken did come back, but it was a 0.02% difference. 225 votes was the difference. So there is no path for Senator Casey here. What he is doing is small and petty. It is wrong. And also, where is Governor Josh Shapiro in the state of Pennsylvania? This is a state issue. He is ignoring county commissioners openly saying, not only am I breaking the law, but I'm bragging about it. I'm rubbing it in your face.
Yeah.
And so where is he? So shame on you, Josh Shapiro. If you think about running in 2028, we're looking at you, buddy.
Well,
wow. This is what's happening in Pennsylvania right now. Open defiance of the law. And heads are going to roll. They're calling for criminal charges. I'm still in shock over this.
Reject all three categories of these ballots.
Your motion is to reject or dismiss the challenges in this category in front of you?
Correct, yep.
not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
Maybe you pay more attention if you were behind bars. So the Pennsylvania situation exposes everything wrong with our election system. When Democrat officials can simply ignore Supreme Court rulings, we're no longer a nation of laws. We're a banana republic. But here's what I want you to weigh in our comments section. Should election officials who willfully defy court orders face immediate arrest? Or is this another example of a two-tier justice system? And while you're fighting for election integrity, make sure you're equipped with our new MAGAvengers collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. These bold designs aren't just merchandise. They are a declaration that every legal vote counts and every illegal vote undermines our republic.